Hello and welcome. Today, we're journeying back in time, not just centuries, but millennia, to uncover the ancient roots of Germany. We're peeling back the layers of history to reveal a story that begins long before castles and kings. A story of tribes, languages, and a culture forged over 3,000 years. Our story starts deep in the past. Imagine a landscape untouched by modern cities where hunter-gatherers roamed. Archaeological finds, like intricate tools in cave art, tell us that human activity in the lands we now call Germany dates back an incredible 35,000 years. These early inhabitants were the pioneers, the first to leave their mark on this ancient European heartland. But when do we start to see the seeds of what would become Germanic culture? To answer that, we need to listen closely to the echoes of language. Around 500 BCE, something remarkable happened. A new branch of language began to form, distinct from its Celtic and Italic neighbors. This was Proto-Germanic, the mother tongue of modern German, English, Dutch, and the Scandinavian languages. This linguistic shift wasn't just about new words. It marked the birth of a distinct cultural identity. The people speaking this language shared more than just vocabulary. They shared a way of seeing the world, a common set of beliefs and traditions that set them apart. These weren't a single, unified people, but a mosaic of tribes: the Carusi, the Goths, the Vandals, the Franks. Each had its own leaders, its own territory, and its own customs. Yet, they were all bound by this shared linguistic and cultural heritage. They were farmers, warriors, and storytellers. Their society was organized around kinship and loyalty to a chieftain. They valued courage, honor, and a fierce independence. How do we know about their values and their world? We look to their stories. While they didn't leave behind massive libraries of written text, their traditions survived through epic poetry, passed down orally from one generation to the next. Sagas like Beowulf, though written down in Old English, offer a powerful window into the Germanic heroic age. These tales are filled with brave warriors, fearsome monsters, and a deep sense of fate or word. They celebrate loyalty to one's lord, the glory of battle, and the importance of a good reputation that would outlive them. These epic poems weren't just entertainment. They were cultural encyclopedias, reinforcing the values that held their society together. One of the most famous encounters in this early period was with the Roman Empire. As Rome expanded its borders northward, it came face to face with these Germanic tribes. The Romans saw them as barbarians, a chaotic force on the edge of civilization. But the reality was far more complex. There was trade, there was conflict, and there was cultural exchange. The Rhine and Danube rivers became a fluid frontier, a line not just of defense, but of interaction. Perhaps the most legendary moment in this clash of civilizations was the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in 09 CE. Coalition of Germanic tribes, led by the chieftain Arminius, ambushed and annihilated 3 Roman legions. This victory was a stunning blow to Roma's prestige and effectively halted their expansion east of the Rhine. For the Germanic tribes, it was a defining moment of resistance, a symbol of their unyielding spirit and their deep connection to their homeland. It ensured that the lands of Germania would develop on their own terms outside the direct control of the Roman Empire. But history is never static. Over the centuries, these tribes continued to evolve. The so-called migration period saw vast movements of people across Europe. The Goths, Vandals, and Franks didn't just raid the Roman Empire. They moved into it, settled, and eventually carved out new kingdoms from its crumbling provinces. The Franks, under leaders like Clovis and later Charlemagne, would go on to build a new empire in the west, laying the groundwork for what would become both France and Germany. Throughout this entire epic span of 3,000 years, the German language itself was on a parallel journey. From the common roots of Proto-Germanic, it began to change and splinter. A major shift, known as the High German consonant shift, created a distinction between High German spoken in the south and Low German in the north. This evolution reflects the history of the people themselves, their political divisions, and their interactions with neighbors. The language absorbed words from Latin, from French, and later from all over the world, yet it retained its core Germanic structure and spirit. It's a living artifact, a continuous thread connecting modern Germany all the way back to those ancient tribes gathering around a fire, sharing stories in a language that was just beginning to find its voice. So, when we look at Germany today, we see the legacy of this deep history everywhere. It's in the language people speak, a tongue that has been evolving for 3 millennia. It's in the folklore and fairy tales that echo the values of ancient sagas. And it's in the resilient, independent spirit that can be traced all the way back to the tribes who refused to bow to an empire. This isn't just a history of dates and battles. It's the story of how a culture was born, how a language grew, and how the echoes of a deep and distant past continue to shape a nation. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through ancient German history. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that made our world. Let me know in the comments which part of this ancient history surprised you the most. Until next time, stay curious.